I am Jacqueline Jobs, your educational consultant, and we're going to be talking about the different learning styles in education. In 1987, Neil Fleming created the VARK Learning Style Model to introduce children to their learning preferences. The VARK model stands for Visual, Auditory, Reading and Writing, and Kinesthetics. Visual or spatial learners learn by reading or seeing. They remember or learn things by sight, use pictures, diagrams, and written directions, envisions materials taught, and recalls information. Draws, make lists, or take notes to retain or understand information. The pros for visual learners are they are well organized, pays attention to details, good spellers, concentrate well, good handwriting, use lists, diagrams, and charts to write down what they see and hear, and have a strong imagination. The cons for visual learners are thoughts wander during lectures, they daydream, need to see directions, not hear them, observant but may miss some of what is said, remember faces but not names. Now, these are only cons if they're in a setting like a regular school setting where they have to pay attention constantly and they don't have the liberality to move around and flow like they need to. So it's not a really a con per se, it just depends on what environment they are in. Some learning strategies for visual learners are visual learners remember by taking notes, use colorful charts and graphs, use color coding and labels like notes, highlighters, things of that nature, color pencils. Use study tools like flashcards, graphic organizers, and mind maps. Auditory learners learn by listening. They prefer to listen over reading, thinks out loud, talks through problems to gain understanding, repeats directions for clarity, process information by listening to others, and they are very vocal. Pros for auditory learners are they remember conversations, music, and lyrics. They're great at explaining decisions and speaking off the top of their heads. They're great storytellers, they're extroverts, and they like listening. Cons for auditory learners. Now, again, it's only a con depending upon the environment they're in. They can be too talkative, they talk to themselves, they lose concentration easily, prefer spoken directions over written directions, and cannot concentrate when noisy. Some learning strategies for auditory learners are repeat information with your eyes closed, practice explaining information to other people, create a song to help remember, study in groups so you can discuss. They prefer lectures and discussions, and they prefer verbal praise from teachers. Reading and writing learners. They learn by reading and writing. They express themselves through writing, prefer to read notes, handouts, and textbooks. They are researchers. They rewrite and reread notes to retain information. They express themselves well with written words. Some pros for reading and writing learners. They enjoy reading in their free time. They're good at grammar since they read frequently. They can become great writers. They remember information that they read or wrote down. Some cons for reading and writing learners. They prefer writing essays to oral presentations. They must have access to paper and a writing utensil. They need a quiet environment to study adequately. May not be as successful in learning when working as a part of a team or a group. Some learning strategies are they study alone in a quiet area to avoid distraction, keep lots of notes, use colored pencils and highlighters, highlight keywords as you write, write notes to yourself in the margins, post note cards in visible places. Kinesthetic and tactile learners. They learn by experiencing and doing. They manipulate and touch materials to learn, like to participate in learning, problem solve by doing. They move around a lot, talk with hands or gestures, think more clearly when moving around. Some pros for kinesthetic or tactile learners are they can perform a task after doing it once themselves. They are great at navigating. They understand how things work. There is an increase in cognitive development. Individuals have better motor skills. Kinesthetic activities increase social skills. Kinesthetic learners help critical and analytical thinking skills, and they are very strong creative thinkers. Some cons are they're constantly moving, get bored in a traditional classroom, need frequent study breaks to keep focus, doodles while listening to a lecture, do not prefer to read, and have poor spelling skills. Thank you for participating in this training. I hope that you have learned something. Please leave a review if you felt that this training was beneficial. What other trainings do you need? Please email us and tell us what training you would like to receive next. Email us at teachermommy@teachermommy.net.